Damn!
So if you ever want to feel what it's like to throw a classic car with a complete package of performance upgrades around the track, well, today's video is exactly that, with a focus on the 69 Z28 Camaro. This tune took a lot of time to adjust to make viable. I've been looking at taking some less used cars from GT7 and turning them into daily drivers for the community. The Camaro was the first in a series of classic cars tuned for grinding, and this car is a beast, and it's definitely not your best credit grinder, but man is it fun to drive. And that's what this video is about. I left this tune a little bit lively for my own entertainment, and hopefully you guys can appreciate what this car brings to the table. This takes the stock car and raises its performance significantly, but still maintains that muscle car feel. So full details including tuning specs will be at the end of the video. In terms of overall performance, this car is fast. At fuel mapping 1, it'll easily top out over 205 miles per hour. Like all classic muscle cars, it's a handful in the corners, but even at fuel mapping 6, which is where I geared this car for endurance races, this car will pass anything on the track. So in terms of history, the Camaro has a storied past. This car was built as a direct response to the Ford Mustang. When GM saw the Mustang's performance, low price, and marketing campaigns, they realized immediately the need for a rival. So in 1966, the Camaro hit the streets. It got fairly high praise, but it was still outclassed by the Mustang. So GM went back and designed a high-performance version, which became the Z28. It was powered by a 302 cubic inch engine, producing 289 horsepower. The Z28 was ahead of the track and the dealerships, and GM knew they had a winner. The model in GT7 is the 1969 Camaro Z28, which is one of the most coveted years in trim levels of the Camaro, as it's a perfect representation of the pony car era. So stat changes from stock. We increased the performance to just under 700. While this car is shy of the 700 pp level, you could get there if you use medium tires and just slightly detuned it. I prefer hards just for the track options, but if you want to run mediums you can, as you'll need to pit multiple times with this tune anyways. We also see a dramatic increase in horsepower, just under 700, and this new car has a massive 550 pounds of torque. Weight comes in just around 2,600 pounds. So acceleration, top speed, and cornering are all improved. And this tune has pretty much every permanent upgrade you can put into it. So bore up, stroke up, engine balance, polished ports, high lift cams, a racing crankshaft. I opted in for weight reduction stage 3 and increased body rigidity as well. So performance upgrades. It's got a wide body kit from GT Auto. It's got racing hard tires. And again, you'll need a set of intermediate or wet tires for using with Le Mans. Fully customized suspension, fully customized LSD. I was trying to get this tune to work with a one-way LSD to maximize its performance, but it just didn't have enough traction, so the fully customized is definitely the way to go. I added front and rear aero from GT Auto, which is removing the bumpers, and I also added a custom rear spoiler. Has a full control computer, a power restrictor, a ballast, which we use to shift weight to improve overall performance, fully customized racing transmission with some manual gearing, a racing intercooler, a supercharger with high-end torque, and racing components including an air filter, muffler, exhaust manifold, brakes and pads, and a brake balance controller, and also a racing clutch and flywheel. Again, for this build, run it on racing hards. You will need rain tires if you're planning to use this tune on Le Mans as well. So adjustments include, I lowered the front end and raised the rear. We updated suspension to be more responsive. It has significant adjustments to the LSD, increased downforce, and this transmission, like I mentioned, does have some manual tuning to it, and the reason for that is just to maintain traction as you accelerate. So pause the video if you want to know the exact gear ratios. This car is tuned to max out on the Le Mans straight, and it accounts for the bulk of your laps at fuel mapping 6. It's a 700 performance points tune. If you want to use it on a different track, that's fine. So just adjust the gear ratios if you're using this on a different track, because obviously most tracks don't have that same long straight like Le Mans. So overall the car is a solid build, it handles fairly well. The car is a little wild and it can still kick out under full acceleration or sweeping corners. You absolutely need to feather the throttle on cornering exit and apply full throttle only once the car is stable. Now I'll mention this here, if you do find this tune a bit unforgiving, you can make some adjustments to make it easier for you. You could further raise the acceleration sensitivity and the initial torque settings of the LSD, but just be aware that you're limiting the car's performance. So basically you're putting a governor on how much power the car will put down to the road. So like I said, I wanted that classic muscle driving experience, so I initially left it fairly aggressive. But if you want it a bit more tame, feel free to adjust it to your liking. So for the race strategy, this one's pretty simple. Plan to run a fuel mapping 6. You'll easily gain on the entire field, and it gives you a full 3 laps until you're committed to pitting. To make this work, you do need to short shift this car to get those 3 laps, so don't go super high into the rev range on laps 1 and 2, and once you get a feel for the fuel economy, you can adjust it accordingly. Again, I'd recommend you use both wet and intermediate tires on this car just so you have options for the race and you can adjust accordingly. And as always, you'll have to adjust for the weather. You'll likely need 2 pit stops for this race, but on the final 1 or 2 laps, you can go full tilt at fill map A1 and easily gain any lost time. This Camaro is available for the Legendary dealership. It's cheap too, it's usually around 120,000 credits. The tune isn't cheap, you'll be dropping about 300 to 400k into this build, but you make it back with a single Le Mans win, so in my mind it's still worth it. The car is unique, and working with this car is a good way to improve your driving skills, as it's a bit more wild than most of my tunes. So if you don't have the Camaro already, just watch for it. It's worth the price, and I'd recommend this car for anyone that wants a great muscle car. In terms of livery, this one is my own, and it's shared if you want it. It's a sleeper type track look with charcoal gray and black Camaro stripes. It's not locked, so if you don't like up the colors, feel free to change it accordingly. Again, it's a pretty subtle livery, but I wanted to maintain the classic look and feel of the car. So I hope you enjoy this tune, and it earns you considerable money in GT7, and this one gives you a unique driving experience of a classic muscle car. If you like these tunes, please like and comment below, as it greatly helps my channel growth on YouTube, and it helps steer me in the right direction for content creation. If you're looking to connect with others around gaming in general, feel free to join our Discord. It's a great spot if you're looking for more information on GT7, tunes, or just gaming in general. As always, thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.